Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird, here to continue or conclude, for now, the review series for Chromeskull, Laid to Rest. So this is actually Laid to Rest 2, and this is the sequel. I just released the review yesterday for the original Laid to Rest movie. I am doing this review series in conjunction with CODY LEACH from the channel CODY LEACH, and he's reviewing these movies as well because I forced him into it, quite frankly. No, I told him about a year ago that I really enjoy these movies, and so I sent him a couple of copies. Well, one of the first one of the second one. I got myself a couple of newer copies, and I was ready to go through these, but he is a busy man. I became busy as well, so we finally had a chance to do these reviews here in October. Better time, what better time, I should say. But these movies I'm excited to share about, and that's part of why I shared it with CODY to begin with. Not that many people know about Laid to Rest or Chromeskull. Some people do, and those of us that do, I believe, appreciate it. Some people might not like it, but it is a really, really good, gory slasher series, quite frankly. I really enjoyed the first one, and I really enjoyed the second one as well. I just rewatched both within the last 48 hours, so they are very fresh in my mind, and 2 definitely did what sequels do. It expanded on the lore, it made it bigger. I don't know that it necessarily made it better. I mean, certain aspects were better, but certain aspects that were focused on were a little bit less strong as well. But it is, again, a absolutely sweet gore fest that is a no-holds-barred gore fest, rather. So I am excited to talk about it. Overall, I really like this movie, just like I really like the first one. I dislike this one for different reasons than I dislike the first one, so I'll get into that eventually as well. But overall, I still think they're tremendous films that need to be in every horror fan's library. So this one picks up literally right where the last one leaves off. Another reason why I think it deserves to be in any slasher fan's library. Some of my favorite slasher franchises had installments that would pick up right where the last one left off. Halloween, obviously 1 to 2, picks up right where it left off. A couple of the other ones do the same thing. Jason, Friday the 13th, has a couple that do the same thing. Nightmare on Elm Street have a few that do the same thing. I love the immediate follow-up to an original storyline, and this one does that big time. So we get to see the 2 main characters that survived the end of Laid to Rest, which is our main character, main female character, as well as the Thomas Dekker character, the character played by Thomas Dekker, who is the kid that played John Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So that's how I know him. He's done other stuff as well, but that and this are where I actually know him from. So this, again, picks up right where the last one leaves off. So the main female, the final girl from the first one, and Thomas Dekker drive off trying to get themselves safe after having defeated Chromeskull, where he basically tries to put his mask back on, but he doesn't realize that one of the people that were trying to survive in the first movie replaced his adhesive glue with a basically face melting. It's like the superest of super glues is what he called it, something like that. And so Chromeskull puts it on the mask in order to reaffix itself to his face at the end of the first movie, and when he does, it completely melts his face, and he tries to pull it off to stop, but it's adhered itself to his face, so he ends up pulling his face off, and he has just bubbling grossness underneath in the skin, and then she takes a bat and just beats his face in with a bat a few times. So he apparently was clinging to life after that, because a group of people show up at the beginning of this movie after the final girl and Thomas Dekker have taken off, and they are securing the site, and it is not cops, it is a private security force of some kind that take Chromeskull in and immediately rush him into emergency surgery, where they try and salvage what they can. They stabilize him, they pull out bone fragments, and they try and reconstruct his face as well as they can using a clear skull mold. And so from then on, whenever you get to see this guy, it is a really grotesque. Think Gary Oldman in Hannibal. That's the kind of face that he almost has in this, and it is aggressive, but it is really well done. But nonetheless, he is still Chromeskull, and apparently Chromeskull runs this organization, this private organization that exists in order to help him achieve his murderous goals. And so that is what is unveiled throughout the movie, and it turns out that his first in command is played by Brian Austin Green from Beverly Hills 90210, Bag, as some called him. But right? Yeah, that's Brian Austin Green. Okay, yeah, I'm making sure I'm not confusing him with David Alan Grier. So yes, Brian Austin Green from Beverly Hills 90210, he plays Chromeskull's first in command, who is getting tired of Chromeskull's leadership and is getting a taste for killing of his own. So that is a sort of contentious relationship that unfolds throughout the movie. Meanwhile, you know, Chromeskull and his lackeys are trying to hunt down the two escapees from the first movie. And how that plays out, I don't want to ruin for you guys, but it is pretty aggressive. And then there are new victims that are in a new playground that Chromeskull has set up while he was in the 3 months worth of recovery. So he was in the behind the scenes setting up all of the things in the final location for the third act, in which it is Chromeskull versus a bunch of victims versus another Chromeskull. So literally the dual Chromeskull thing, or Chromeskull Laid to Rest 2, is really Chromeskull 2 Laid to Rest. So it is a really fun movie, and again, it leans on the gore. That is the long and short of the story, and I enjoyed the story as it evolved. It, like I said, it, like a lot of sequels, a lot of good sequels, it made things bigger. We don't know anything about this organization, but the number two is the Brian Austin Green, but there was a number 3 who, you know, is a female character played by Danielle Harris, who is a scream queen in her own right, from the Halloween series, from the Hatchet series, from numerous Halloween movies, or from numerous horror movies, rather. Numerous Halloween movies as well, both the old series and the Rob Zombie remakes. She is a scream queen in her own right, and she plays a really cool role in this that's not typical for her, but she is, one of Chromeskull's main henchwomen as well. So I think that was a really cool... I like the acting in this movie a little bit more than I like the acting in the first movie. It was a lot more uneven in the first movie than I felt like it was in this one. Everyone across the board was equally in their zone for this. They weren't Oscar worthy, but they were at least all worthwhile. Again, the cops in the first movie were really lackluster. There wasn't really that going on in this movie. Everyone was at least a little bit strong in the acting part. Brian Austin Green really went for it. I'll say that much. He really goes for it at times, and he comes off as a bit whiny. I'm willing to bet that that's going to be one of CODY LEACH's detractors, so I'll get to my predictions about what CODY LEACH thinks at the end of the video. But I also think that Brian Austin Green was a bit of a weakness for the movie. I think if they had gotten a better actor, it would have come off a lot better. Like, get a distinguished actor, like a British bad guy, for this role, and it would have played very much better, I think. I think having Brian Austin Green was a detractor for making this character scary like he should have been. He came off more silly at times, but he was trying his best, and it wasn't terrible. It didn't sink the movie. It just wasn't as good as Chromeskull, who was silent. You know what I mean? So that's a bit of a detractor in the acting department, but the gore, once again, you guys, oh my god, the gore in this is unbelievable. And the inventiveness, again, this is where I liken it to the Collection series. It ups its game. From the Collector 1 to the Collection, from the Collector to the Collection, it ups its game. It has a bigger budget, it has more elaborate traps and gore and things like that. Same from Laid to Rest to Laid to Rest 2. The budget is upped, there's a lot more weapons used, this is Chromeskull's main weapon right here. This is what he uses. He sometimes uses 2 of them, of course, but in the second movie, there are some additional weapons commissioned where it's like 4 of these on one single thing that, you know, can be used as a punching device. And then there's another one that is a sequence of 6 of them, where the blades are facing each other in a whole circle. So it's this entire nasty giant ninja star that rotates on a motor of some kind, and it is just aggressive, and it is used in aggressive ways later. And I'm telling you guys, with the gore, they really do amp it up. The gore was tremendous in the first one, but it is aggressive in this one. And like, from a woman having her mouth around 2 of these blades, like this, and like getting shoved down, and the blades like springing outwards and stuff like that. It is super aggressive, you guys, and it's really inventive in its gore. It sounds disturbing that I enjoy the gore so much, but as a horror fan, look, you have to know what you enjoy. I don't like slow burn horror. I don't like serial killer, like real life serial killer horror. I do kind of like torture porn. I like found footage a lot. I like slashers. So I like gore across all of the subgenres. And when a movie really focuses on the gore and shows you the practical nastiness, like, I really dig that. There was a bit more CG in this, I could tell, than there was in the other ones, but the practical gore and even the CG gore that we get at times is really effective still. So I do still think that that's the selling point for this movie. I think again, this one had a bit of an issue with the shaky cam being a little too shaky at times. It wasn't as bad as the first movie, and I think it even dropped it not too long into this film, because either I stopped noticing it, so it worked well enough where you don't notice it after a while, or they abandon it at some point and you can enjoy the movie from that point on. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed this movie as both the sequel and as just a tremendous entry into the top gore horror movies of all time. So I really do recommend it for that alone, as sick as it sounds. Definitely check it out, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and make my predictions for CODY LEACH. Now, on this one, I'm going to say that again, he's going to say that the gore is what stands out in this. It is the shining example. I think he's going to say that there's some CG aspects of the gore that don't hold up, maybe necessarily, but I still think he's going to say that the gore is inventive and gross and the weapons are cool. But I think he's going to say that the story might not be that strong. I think he's going to say that the decisions that are made at times are silly. But I think the problem that he's going to have the most is Brian Austin Green. This could go either way, to be honest with you. He could surprise me and say, I really like Brian Austin Green, really going for it and being the bad guy in this. Or he could say, Brian Austin Green was stupid, he was chewing the scenery, and I really didn't like his character. Could go either way. I'm going to lean towards the second one, where he just didn't like his character very much and he annoyed him. So, and that's completely understandable, totally. But I don't think he can. I think he's going to be impressed at how they tried to evolve the storyline. I think he's going to be interested that they did that they bothered to do that, rather than just following such a simple formula like they did in the first one, where it's just girl escaping from Chromeskull over and over and over again. This added some depth. There's a whole organization involved now. There's cover-ups. There's unanswered questions, there's questions answered, and it's all just really entertaining. So yes, I think that he's going to have a problem with Brian Austin Green most of all, and I think he's going to appreciate what the movie tried to do, but I don't think he's going to like the movie. I'm not sure that this is going to be a series he's going to want to return back to anytime soon. Although I think he would be willing to watch the third one if it does end up coming out in the near future, because I think it's finally being made. So I know he's also covering The Collector, so I'm interested to see how this stacks up against it. So why don't you guys find out with me? Go over to the CODY LEACH channel, see if I'm right. He's dropping his review for Chromeskull the same time that I'm dropping mine. So go over and check out his review and see if my predictions are correct. If you trust him more, fine, believe him. But if you like gore in horror, you gotta watch these movies. No matter any other point that's made, you gotta watch these for the gore at least. So thank you guys very much for watching. if you didn't know, we have a really cool thing going on. We are actually making a fan film sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And it is going to be starring Miko Hughes reprising his role as Dylan Porter. So I'm very excited about this. We are doing it in conjunction with Vincent DeSanti of Womp Stomp Films, as well as Renee Rivas, who shot The Spirit of made The Spirit of Haddonfield. He is shooting the movie. And then Nora Hewitt, who won season 9 of Face Off, is doing the gore and makeup effects. So we're all very excited about it. Thank you guys very much. If you want to contribute to it, the link is in the description box down below. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button and subscribe to make sure you don't miss videos going forward. We're about halfway through on this campaign, so even if you can't contribute to Dylan's New Nightmare, please share it, because you never know which of your friends might be into the idea and want to contribute. So thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird. That other guy is CODY LEACH. His description, or his channel link is in the description as well. Make sure you go subscribe to him if you haven't yet. Most of you already are, probably, but thank you to CODY LEACH for doing this collaboration with me. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird, and remember, stay scared.